Hello, my fellow fanfic readers. It is I, Dark Symphony 777, with a fanfiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description. Please like, subscribe, and comment into the story in the comment section below, whether it's an opinion or a story you want me to do in the future. Ignore that I'm actually working on my friend's room. I gotta get everything out of I still gotta get everything out of his closet. Pooh. So, what's the story I'm going to review today? Batman and Benson 2 by Mick Ferguson. Hey, I did Batman and Benson 1 not too long ago. I figured, he has about 7 stories, well, 8, but the 8th one is not done, so I'm not counting that. I figured I reviewed the entire series so far. What's this makes this different from Batman and Benson 1? Well, first off, Batman and Benson 1 is more or less an introductory story to the world that the author is trying to establish. For what it is, it did a good job of that. It just basically gave us guidelines that here's what's going to happen in this world. It's just basically Batman combined with Law and Order. That's it. There we go. Done. Yeah. And when I reviewed that story, for what it was an okay story. I mean, I can't really fault anything about it, except for the Harley Quinn thing, but that's more a common mistake than anything. So, let's get started. Let's see. For this plot, the SVU unit, it takes place about a month after the first story. It has the only plot line kind of connecting, and that's whether or not Olivia Benson will join the Gotham City SVU or will she go back to New York. At the end, she picks SVU to stick in Gotham City. And so they get their first case in Arkham Asylum when Harley Quinn is raped by the Joker. And I mean that very lightly in the terms of the rape because it's Harley Quinn. If I'm right, the author is kind of bases off of the animated series, so rape as kind of means consensual in this case because it's Harley Quinn, and she at this point in time she's kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over the Joker, so it's like, man. God dang it. Throat's been bothering me this past couple days, that's why I haven't did the video. And so they get their first case. They also have to deal with the fact the Riddler is starting up. He's taken over a big mob boss in the city, and Superman shows up. What? And of course, there's introduction of Harvey Dent, having him become Two-Face at the end. Well, not exactly. Sort of become Two-Faced, and it's kind of a hodgepodge of plot lines and everything. And in jokes, there's also a really cool cameo by a bunch of other crime drama characters. Like, I think there was characters from something named Columbo. I don't even know what that show's from. We had Booth and Temperance from Bones. We had Crossing Jordan. We had other characters. I don't know that much about crime dramas. I just know the Columbo guy because I looked him up. It's like, who the hell is Columbo? Sam Spade. There was a character named Sam Spade. I looked that up. I believe that was Finding Jordan. I believe it was Finding Jordan. I can't remember. I don't know much about crime dramas. I know Bones. And I was like, wait, is that Temperance Bones? It is Temperance Bones too. Hey, we got a bunch of those cameos. That was overall actually pretty nice touch. I didn't like the X-Files cameo because they came fuck out of nowhere. And it's like no explanation whatsoever. They were just an ass pull. In terms of the plot, he manages to juggle all the plot points in a coherent way, except for one. I'll get to that one at the end. The Joker one is done relatively nice. It's done in a build-up of having Olivia having to deal with the possibility of going after Joker, and then having to deal with Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn. Which is problem number one. First off, not only do you name the character Harley Quinn as her real name, you turn her supervillain identity into Harlequin I guess it's kind of referencing the fact how Paul Dini decided to come up with Harley Quinn in the first place. For those of you who don't know, I actually saw a video about the origins of Harley Quinn by Paul Dini on like a YouTube channel, and he discussed like he was in a costume shop and he saw this, and he was thinking of like new characters to put in the show, and he saw this Harley Quinn outfit, and he decided, hey, I'll make like a lady for Joker, and it's like, and he supposedly bought the costume, and he decided to base it off of that, and so he eventually he managed to turn Harley Quinn into Harley Quinn, and then eventually for her real name, Harley Quinn into Harley Quinzel, and everything, so it's like, and I like how that's done. It leaves a lot of interpretation at the end when Joker falls into like an empty metal refinery bowl thing, and you know it's collapsed, and it's like Joker is faded up in the air, but we all know it's the frickin' Joker. He'll be back sooner or later. So it leaves us so it actually keeps reminding us that sooner or later they're gonna meet. Olivia's gonna go against Joker, because in this story, Olivia kind of went against Harley instead of Joker. So it's like, and Joker was there as like something of a bait to remind us, hey, I'm building up, which was relatively nicely done. The plot point with Superman, I did not like. First off, on one hand, I didn't really like that plot point, but on the other hand, since I'm basing this on the fact he's probably basing this series off Batman the Animated Series, and if I remember right, Superman shows up a couple episodes in animated series. So it's like, I can get Superman, even if it's just a one-off, even if it's just this one story and he doesn't show up for the rest. And it's like, alright, it's a quick, easy cameo to reference the fact that Superman and Batman cartoons in the 90s kind of crossed over. So it's like, I can easily get behind that, at least. What I can't get behind in terms of the cameos is the X-Files and the Spider-Man cameo. First off, I didn't like the X-Men cameo because, again, they came the fuck out of nowhere. Why were they there? The Grey's Anatomy character Nurse near the end, you know, she had a reason for being there. At least the author explained why she was there and got them. She was going on vacation. No, not so much the X-Files. They just show up, heal Detective Montoya, and then leave. Yeah, what? Sorry. They're still bothering me. I have to leave it open. Oh, god dang it. Sorry about that. I mean, I would have liked it if they had some explanation of why they said, hey, we're here for the police convention. Because everyone was there for the police convention. The Spider-Man cameo. First off, when I first read that story, when I first read that end, I literally had to read it twice. It's like, what? Did he really just shove Spider-Man completely the fuck out of nowhere? Just to pull off, there goes the neighborhood joke. And I read it again, it's like, the author did. That's incredibly stupid. First off, Spider-Man did not need to be there, first off. For two reasons. One, he's Marvel Batman DC. I mean, if you were doing a X-over, you were doing SVU, if you did an official crossover, like Law and Order SVU crossover with X-overs, so it's like, okay, I can throw you a bone. First off, not an official crossover, or if you're doing a crossover, it's Batman and Law and Order. Second off, you did the cameo for a stupid joke at the end that was not needed. I mean, if you were going to do, one of those jokes, there goes the neighborhood, then, you know, you had Superman reference Diana, aka Wonder Woman, in the story. You could have easily just switched Spider-Man with Wonder Woman, and there you go. Back to the plot points. The Riddler plot point. I actually really like that plot point. I was actually thinking of, when I read it, it's like, okay, she's going against the Riddler. It's like, you know, I thought, you know, maybe the Riddler would be like, dang, I hate when my throat's irritated. It's so hard to do these videos. When the Riddler was, it's like, how are you gonna do this with him? No, have Riddler kind of play second fiddle to Superman, just showing off his strength. I like the idea with how Riddler's plan, though. I thought that was a really good plan, and I thought it was a nice touch of doing like little gamers into it, and had everything. There's a lot of other subplot points. The only one I didn't like, in terms of like the subplot points, like Olivia's decision to whether or not to stay or go, to the little cameos, to Elliot's relationship with Danny. It is the Two-Face, Harvey Dent subplot. I don't mind the fact of how he did. I think for what it is, as it is right now, it's okay. But I think the main problem with this is not so much the fact that he did it, it's the fact of when he did it. I think the Harvey Dent situation with him like getting more obsessed with trying to arrest Robert Thorne, the mob boss, and becoming more desperate, and then eventually becoming Harvey Dent with the acid. I think that would have been better if he played it up over a couple stories. I think there's 7 stories. Have it happen in 2, 3, and then becomes Two-Face in 4. So that way you have more time to, get a report on them, because everyone knows who knows Batman knows Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face. Like, but you didn't have to rush it out there. I mean, honestly, you didn't need to. I mean, how it's done good enough that I can't really complain with the fact, okay, he's Two-Face. It's just more a missed opportunity than anything else. The plot, there's a lot of in-jokes, there's a lot of good plot points, how the plot develops, because now we have the possibility of Olivia going out, facing up against Two-Face. The Joker situation is put on the back burner, so it's in the back of our minds. We know that Olivia, sooner or later, is going to go against Joker again, and this time for real, instead of, Joker kind of playing a peripheral role, which is fine in this story, and how the story is structured, because it's just giving us more anticipation for when they finally, face off, like, legit face off. The Elliot Danny thing, okay. Spider-Man doesn't need to be there. Barbara kind of wanting to become Batgirl, so it's like, I want to become Batgirl. Only problem with that is you misspelled Barbara's name. Understandable, because there's like 3 different ways of spelling Barbara, but you just picked the wrong spelling. I can't really complain to you about that, because it's nitpicking. Yeah, it's nitpicking. Characters. I actually really like the characters. Rachel Dawes, it's an okay character. I honestly think she should have been introduced in the first story. I can't remember if she was. Mainly because I got a long throat. My throat usually comes with a headache as well. Oh yeah, she shows up in like the latter half of the first one. I think like at the end. Yeah, she shows up at like the end of the first Batman Benson, I believe. Riddler is done relatively well. I think the twist on Riddler, having him still have that Riddler taste of, let's put all these Riddlers, but put him in like a more convincing mind of him trying not to cripple himself and more just becoming overly opportunistic and having like all his coverage base. I think that was a nice twist on Riddler. I'm not familiar with Riddler. I'm more familiar with like Joker and Mr. Freeze and Harley Quinn, especially Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn. Hey. I think that the twist on him, like the Law and Order S version of Edward Nygma, was a nice touch. Harley Quinn trying to pull the he raped me and mentally abused me stick was actually pretty hilarious at the end, when like she's like surrounded by cops and they all turn around and said, "Shut up!" That was a funny image. Said, "He raped me! Shut up!" I also really like the explanation of Harley Quinn, him and everyone else just goes to be free from the royal coil, and I think the author can actually go on with that, because that's actually pretty unique as far as like motivations of why Harley the way she is. as far as I'm concerned. That's actually a unique take on Harley Quinn, or at least her breaking down psychosis. Superman is done. He's like wary. Supergirl, honestly, Supergirl didn't really need to be there. I think Supergirl was unnecessary. You can pretty much remove Supergirl and reword some things. Like be the same story. It's not so much I hate Supergirl. It's just the fact she's just a little too much for me. In the context of, I think she was fine. Barbara was fine. Every single character was fine. I can't wait to see more of the author's version of the Joker. Olivia Benson, Harvey Dent, Rut situations aside, he was a good enough character. I think he could have been stretched out a little bit more. And no, I'm going to be repeating stuff at the end. Don't you know? Olivia Benson, I like her indecision. I like her growth as a character. I want to see more of her. I want to see more of this version of Olivia. Munch is a detestable dirtbag, but it's like there's nothing new with that. Grammar error. Gordon was Gordon. Nothing really unique. I mean, he didn't show up enough that I can really get a read on him. Well, in this story. Same thing with Bullock and Montoya. There's but it's like, I really liked it. I like the idea of Alfred being like Olivia's father figure in his head. I thought that's sweet. I also like the little joke at Olivia mentioned. He said, "Hey, do you think you two could possibly make a League of Superheroes, Truth League, a Justice League?" And then Batman's like, "Not in your life, Benson." I really like that joke because it's like, we know it's gonna come true, but it's like, come on. That's good writing right there. Grammar errors outside of the Barbara thing, and that's more just a common misunderstanding because again, 3 spellings of Barbara that I know of. There's B-A-R-B-R-A, and then there's Barbara Gordon's actual name, B-A-R-B-A-R-A, and then I believe there's a version with an H in it at the end, like Deborah has 2 versions, D-E-B-R-A and D-E-B-O-R-A-H. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that's the right spelling. Pacing, I actually think the pacing is fine. One thing, the story shoots up from a 20,000 word story to a 90,000 word story. So it's like a 70,000 word plus. Wow. And you can feel the actual nice pacing along things. You can actually when I read it, I actually easily picture everyone kind of moving like they do in the cam work in SVU. I really think that's a nice touch. Well, more my touch than anything else. Again, the imagery is more my personal thing. And overall, it's a nice story. Favorite part, would I recommend this, and final thoughts. My favorite part has to be all those cameos. For anyone who's a big fan of crime dramas, seeing all those little Easter eggs of the other crime dramas like Crossing Jordan and Grey's Anatomy, that's just a real nice treat to any fan of who likes those type of shows. Personally, I'm not a big fan of crime dramas. I know I like Psych, I like Rizzoli and Isles, but I believe when this story came out, Rizzoli and Isles weren't even a thing. And probably Sean Spencer would probably get arrested in Gotham when he tried to pull something. Or he'd probably get himself in trouble. I don't know. I can understand why Psych's not there. Is there any other? No, Criminal Minds. I'm actually surprised Criminal Minds didn't no Criminal Minds characters made a cameo. Considering the fact Criminal Minds is a big thing, so it's there's you did all these. Well, you did mostly obscure crime dramas, except for I believe Bones, because I know Bones is huge, right? If it wasn't for the fact I didn't see a lot of episodes, I probably would be able to get into Bones. I know my mom's a big fan of Bones. Yeah, she's a big fan. She's a monster fan of Bones. I think she collected some of the actual books based off the real Temperance. Temperance. Oh yeah. I really like that because it's just a cool little Easter egg. Would I recommend this? I actually would recommend it. Just like the first story, when the only problem I have with the stories are at most nitpicks. And again, aside from the Harvey Dent, which I think was more just a situation of too soon, then they're all nitpicks. I can't tell the author said, hey, you got the name wrong of Barbara, because despite the fact, well, you kind of did, but at the same time, it's understandable because more than one name of Barbara. Ta-da! The author was probably thinking of Barbara Streisand for some reason, because Streisand has the exact spelling in the story. Would I recommend? Again, would I recommend this? I would. I know I repeated that, but my train kind of backed up, and I just inadvertently repeated what I said. For what it is, it's a good story. It gives us anticipation for when Olivia faces off against Joker, and now we have the anticipation of what happens, when Harvey gets out of the hospital, he becomes Two-Face, what's going to happen then, what's going to be the situation between Batman and Superman, how Batman going to adapt to all these new villains, how is Olivia going to get used to all these new characters, seriously, what the fuck is Spider-Man doing there, because he has no need to be there. But I'm not the author, and, anything. Final thoughts. I think it's actually an improvement over the first story, mainly because while the first story was was introductory, I needed something more. It needed to be expanded on, the whole, everything that happens, and I think this story ticked all the right boxes to continue the series in the way it should be going. Riddler's in jail, there's so many plot points the author can easily go off of. I know I still have 4 more stories to read in the 5 more. Sorry, 5 more. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 5 more Batman and Benson stories. So it's what's going to happen next? I'm actually eagerly anticipating what is going to happen. If I had to change anything, it just really be just get rid of Spider-Man and extend the Harvey Dent plotline, because I think you could have easily had the opportunity to kind of extend that longer. It would have been pretty easy, just have Harvey Dent kind of become desperate to get Thorn in cuffs again, and get him in jail after the situation, and then the Emmy, the big guy, the big retarded henchman who kind of has brain damage, do the acid thing, just move it to a different story, so that way you have more time to give a report to Olivia and Harvey, flesh out their character dynamic, flesh out their foil, because now that I look at it, Harvey can easily be a good foil for Olivia and Alex and Rachel, and their dynamic of Harvey, keeping Batman at bay, kidnapping those 3 specifically, and they're trying to, they play off each other so well. I can easily see that being done. I don't know if, for all I know, it could be done in 3. So, that's my review on Batman and Benson 2. So tell me what you think. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and I just noticed I didn't switch the mic to my snowball. So I had you in my hands the entire time, and not realize I forgot to switch it. Oh boy. That's embarrassing. Ooh.